you get to say hi now?
Yeah.
She was very adamant about saying hi on the camera this morning, so hi from Kinsley.
Hi.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors.
Can you tell them how old you are? Stick your tongue back in your mouth.
2.
You're 2. What's your name?
2.
No, your name.
No, me.
Kinsley.
Yeah. Baby sis.
Anyway, so I'm going to be taking you guys step by step through the way I make French macarons. And the reason I'm saying French with this is because there are, put your tongue back in your mouth where it belongs. There are 2 methods of making the little macaron cookies, or there's probably more than 2 methods, but the 2 methods that I know of are the Italian. So the 2 methods that I am slightly familiar with are the Italian and the French. And I have never actually made the Italian method. I've watched a lot of videos on it, but I've never done it myself. I have always done the French method, and I feel like it's a very easy and basic way for a beginner. This is kind of a fail-proof method, and it will help you get familiar with the macaron cookie. That way it's, you know, you can kind of understand the dynamics of it. One thing about macarons you do not want to do is you can't rush the process. There are steps and they have to be taken. You can't rush it, because if you rush it, you will probably have a fail of a cookie. So I guess, you know, if you don't have enough time to make them, just make cupcakes, because you can't really fail those. So I'm gonna try to not miss any steps when I'm talking to y'all and showing y'all what I do and how I do it when I make these, and just show you how I make macarons, and try to explain each step and why it's needed as much as I can. And let's get started. We're gonna be making 1 batch, which makes about 2 dozen. We're gonna be making 1 batch of just the regular French ones. So first of all, here I have a 3/4 cup measuring cup and a 1 cup measuring cup, because that's what I use for my almond flour and my powdered sugar. Here is my sifter. It has a handle here on the side. This is the favorite one this is the best one that works the best for me. And then I just have 2, these are 9-inch pans. And I just use this as just a handy, you can use different types of stuff, but this is just a really handy thing to sift into. And then you need 2 of whatever you're using, because then you'll have to sift it again into the next pan. So that makes sense. We're gonna move on to the next step here. I just have my powdered sugar and my almond flour. I think almond flour does make a difference, so I'm gonna try some more. I've tried different ones from Walmart, and this is actually probably one of the best ones. I feel like it's less clumpy, less oily than some of the other brands. So if I get it at Walmart, this is normally the kind I get. for this next part where I mix the egg whites, I generally do set a timer for 2 minutes, and then I check it and see if it's the right consistency, and then I add the granulated sugar and mix it for another 2 minutes, and then you put in your vanilla flavoring and do it on high for another 30 seconds. And that's all. If it's thick enough. If it's not quite thick enough, you might have to do a little bit longer, but that's generally pretty much how much time it takes to do that. When that's done, you just add in your sifted almond flour and powdered sugar, and you give that a mix with your spatula or something similar to that, and you just do the circular motion that I'm doing here to get that all mixed up. Scrape down the sides, make sure you get the bottom really good, and you just mix it gently until you get a nice drip off your spoon, as I will show you here, a nice ribbony, just like that. That's how you want it to look. And then also, if you want to add any coloring, any food coloring, you should mix that in when you mix the vanilla in, because you do not want to overmix this batter. If you overmix it, it will flop. If you undermix it, it will not turn out either. So it'll have stiff peaks, and will have a problem with air bubbles as well. So you have to mix it just the right amount of time and then stop, because that is a mistake I've made in the past. And yeah, here I'm just putting my tip inside of my reusable icing decorating bag, whatever you want to call it, and then I put my batter in there and put it on the pan. So this part is where I drop the pan, bang the pan, whatever you want to call it, to get the air bubbles out. And then I will get a toothpick and fix any air bubbles I might see that are just under the surface, or make sure those are all taken care of so we don't have holes inside of our macaron shells. And then I just drop the pan some more to make sure to fix those holes and anything I might have created with the toothpick. I try to smooth it over as well as I can, and then drop it a couple more times just to give it that even finish before I let it dry. So I finished the first pan, and then I set that to dry for at least 30 minutes before baking it. And then I start on my second pan here, and the 30 minutes, that's kind of relative. You just have to make sure when you touch the macarons 30 minutes later, after they've been drying, you need to make sure that they're fully dried. If they're not, you might have to let them rest a little bit longer. It kind of depends if it's dreary or sunny, or all of that kind of can make a difference. But basically, it just needs to be dry when you touch it and not like stick to your finger. So that is how you know when they're ready to bake. And that is very essential step, because that is how what gives them feet when you bake them, makes them raise up and get little feet on the bottom when you bake them, is that resting time. So that's very important and not a step you want to skip.